Michelle Cann, and I am the Eleanor Sokoloff Chair of Piano Studies here at the Curtis Institute of Music. I will be working with you on one of my favorite ballades of Chopin, his Ballade number 3. Even as the piece starts, you can tell that it's the sense of a story that is unfolding. Holding my hand out to you and saying, "Come with me." And then the left hand responds in like to this invitation. So we already have 2 characters in the story. And then the same statement that we heard at the beginning, but now in the lower registers. Again, leaving us wondering what the answer will be, and finally it resolves. And so I think that even within this smaller structure, we are introducing, in a sense, the characters of this story. And from the very beginning, there should be a personality to each of these statements.
Hey, I'll get you right back to your video, but before that, did you know that March 1st is Chopin's birthday? He doesn't look a day over 200. So why not celebrate our man Chopin by checking out the many dozens of hours of lessons and interviews we have on his music, featuring an all-star cast of concert pianists. You're watching just a few scenes from what is a much longer, in-depth course on Chopin's Third Ballade, taught by Michelle Cann. I met up with Michelle in Philadelphia last summer, and I'm really grateful for the good people at the Curtis Institute of Music for letting me and my crew invade their hallowed halls for an entire day. To watch the full course I filmed with Michelle, click that little info button that just appeared in the top right corner of your screen. It will redirect you to the tonebase.co premium platform, where you could start a free trial and explore our endless supply of Chopin. For now, back to the Ballade.
And in this moment, he highlights G flat. And that doesn't fit into A flat major. And for him to highlight the G flat in such a way, it is a way for us to know that the music is now about to go in another direction. And I think it's so important that as you play this, that you show the surprise of that moment, that you really show it to us. You can kind of already be elevated and dynamic in energy. Some kind of sneak in, so that there's growth in the G flats. Again, I think that's up to you. I love this about romantic music. There's a freedom there, and it's so important that we embrace the freedom in how we can bring attention to something. All that matters is that you actually bring attention to that moment. And sometimes there's just one note. One note makes the difference in the color and the character. The light of that A natural. I want to show you what I do to help make the right hand sparkle. This beautiful figure that's kind of flying up the keyboard. So what I like to do is that I'm rotating to these fourths and fifths, because they, if you actually kind of highlight them in your articulation, it helps it to sparkle. So here I will rotate. And the other side of it is how I attack the note, and I'm voicing to my pinky. So I'm making sure that my fingers are very curved, and I'm kind of hitting it in the same spot every time I hit, with sort of a almost percussive, slightly articulation. But essentially, because when you have the pedal down and in the speed that it goes, it just pings out like little bells. So you see I rotate from my thumb to that pinky especially. And so with the pedal, it just sparkles. Otherwise, it can become kind of muddled and you don't get, again, the magic of that C major moment. I like to use that word magical because the C major really is magical in this ballade in relationship to keys that will surround it. There's no way to predict this. There's no way to predict it. He didn't give us any indication of what was going to happen, and that is why it's one of the best moments. It's the idea that at first, you're not sure that you heard it. And I like that feeling too, is because we're repeating these C's, they should evolve. So that first C, you're wondering, you have to imagine, like, did I hear that? What is that beautiful sound? And so that I like to recreate. So it becomes more and it brings it more to the surface, and then the dance, the alluring dance starts. Your first note that you sing, make sure that it's with love, and great voicing too, so that we hear. And it is not. That's not part of the melody. So physically you want to also, which will help, drop into, just like the C's where I said drop and you're sort of lifting and moving, it's the same motion. You're dropping into the chord, you're making sure you're voicing and coming, and you see how I'm in motion. So I'm always in motion and I'm lighter and lift. It's an up motion on the C. I'm already in an up motion. And I like to practice it at first without pedal, just to really see what. Whenever I can do legato from one finger, like the fourth and the thumb here, I will with my fingers. So I like to practice that. So I connect that. So I can't connect that, but I can connect the top voice. So with the pedaling, I will touch it and release it as I'm playing that second note. Very often I'll release it almost a little bit later after the note. So I don't really want, because then it sounds like almost like a hiccup. It can sound that way if we're too abrupt with our pedal changes. So again, it's that sort of gray area where the change is maybe not a full lift up and down, but it's sort of making it so that it blends. So I have, and I'm lifting it a little late, just enough so that we get a breath. The rest that he asked for is like a breath. So I'm late in that lift, but I do lift. So then when you're in tempo, you still get that lift. But you still hear. And it's quite wonderful. You're getting the dance, you're getting the lift, and at the same time, you're hearing this melody on top. We had a moment of charm and beauty in that the first iteration of the theme, but it very quickly changed directions. So now we have our first kind of big statement, and there'll be more to come. So again, you want to feel the intensity of this melody, but again, the left hand keeps the two, either two note slurs or the sort of pull of the two eighth notes. And let the left hand in this moment continue to pull you where at the same time you can push in your right hand melody against that pull. It's that tension, and we have to feel it. Kind of push there. And now they're together. He puts accents. And accents every octave, and this is the first time that both hands are making the same statement together. It's just a wonderful, joyful dance and moment. And he's, again, the twists and turns are everything. And here, it gets dreamy for a moment. It's all about the right hand. Now it's about the left hand. The thumb. Make sure that thumb sings out. Wonderful, and it passes it back off to the right hand. Again, left hand. This is all the left hand. And the right hand is just coloring this. Again, this wonderful kind of chromatic scale, but not quite. Which in and of itself, it's not that interesting, but against the left-hand melodies here, it's wonderful. Enjoy that. Now right hand. So that final E dissonant, and it resolves to E flat major. So enjoy this, push, and resolve, and let it go. Sing that right hand. This is one of the most beautiful moments for the right hand to sing. Oh, it is absolutely gorgeous by hitting beat 3 instead of 4. 1, 2, 3. Getting there early and creating that suspense and syncopation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, that rush. It's the rush. It's the rush, the feeling. And the left hand, enjoy the left hand as well, which meets the feeling like we're rushing to 3. So give that energy. Now 2. And he has not done this on beat 2. That's even more telling. We've talked about beat 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That means you really, that's got to mean something, because he hasn't done that. 1, 2, 3. And so in that moment, because you're holding this chord while the left hand is transforming underneath, 1, 2, to the A natural. So listen to that. Sing out this chord, but listen and feel what's happening underneath. 1, 2. Chopin likes to transform and do these transitions into different episodes, very often with just a change of one pitch or chord, but there's also something consistent, constantly there. Here it's this A flat. So now we are making our way into these murky waters. But what's really interesting in this section is how the left hand plays a role to create this character. I'm gonna listen and phrase these different intervals and jumps. And when I'm doing it's under voice, so I'm gonna be very close to the keys. But at the same time, I'm still highlighting a jump. Instead of just don't make it an exercise without any thought about the phrase and the melodic line. And then when you're playing, the right hand should play sort of into the left hand. Of course, this is still the melody. It's not to say that that is no longer the melody, but what really creates that tension to me and what changes what we've heard before is the left hand. Then it morphs into the right hand, now having this just repeating G sharp line while the left hand now has the theme. This is what matters. This is what we want to hear. So if we remember that the left hand is leading us, then the right hand, which again seems daunting sometimes, becomes much simpler. I keep my eyes really just on the repeating G sharp right here. Our hands generally know the distance of an octave. So it means that we think we've got to look at every G sharp. No way. You just need to focus on centering your hand in this one. Because your fingers know where to go. So I'm really only focusing here. Now, ultimately, then when I add that left hand, I just phrase and think about singing and phrasing the left hand. My right hand just does the work because you're releasing the tension. Your focus is on the music, not the notes. From there. Now, of course, at times I will look, but you'll notice I'm looking here, and I'm never looking up there because that's a waste of time. So remember that as you practice it. I use some rubato. I don't go. I'm not trying to prove anything to the world. The music is also, again, tension and release. So don't feel like you've got to show everybody how fast you can play this. Let the music guide you. Here, this is a dissonant chord, and so I take a little bit of time on it. I don't, even though I could, but it doesn't work musically. Of stabs. And we've seen this rhythm before. 1, 2, 3. It's on the 3 and the 6. But it's a little bit more intense with these forzandos. So show us this and that pain of A sharp right on its heel. Enjoy the ugliness of that. Of hope. Again, there's that syncopation 6. I kind of like this part. I feel like there's a certain feeling of almost dizziness. This is sort of swirling, right? And at the same time, this chromaticism is the pull. In the last 3 beats, that C sharp. That's, oh, we're almost there. Ya, da, da, da. That's the celebration. So here's swirling. Celebration. He got out, and feel very elevated. Your melody should really soar. Meanwhile, the left hand, we're having fun here, but the left hand's not so fun. So again, I again go back to the same idea. As you practice things, feel them in bigger motion. So not 5 different chords, but really one iteration of E flat dominant, and E flat dominant major. It's all coming out of this E, and even phrase it that way, and then A flat. So again, feel it as one motion, not 6 or 5. Fingering, but see how my arm is moving through each, so that it's going to be easier. It will lighten things up, and it will make it about the harmonies, so that the right hand melody can soar. Just let it go. I love that moment when the hands come together with that dotted rhythm. Actually writes diminuendo, but the right hand rises up with the crescendo. So they're both strong at first, and then it grows. Maybe that's the final pull, because that setting, that surprise dissonance is not what we expected in our celebration. Cool. But triumphant and really broad here. So pull and enjoy this moment. He's running. Maybe he's running to, I don't know, his mother. I mean, he was probably terrified. And then pull for the final moment, and piamoso, we let it go.